أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيبنا وطبيب قلوبنا أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المظلومين المعصومين أما بعد. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كلامه فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى أيضا وقولوا للناس حسنا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. My respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you barakah, inshallah rahman, that you are watching Islamic channels. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveal His mercy, His blessing upon all of you. And before we start our program, I would like to reveal my deepest condolence to all of you, brothers and sisters, for these ayyam, for these days. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give all of us, inshallah rahman, strength to participate in majalis, inshallah rahman, and take benefit of these days and nights. And today's program, my dear respected brothers and sisters, as usual, you know that every week we show one of our beloved brother or sister who reverted to Islam. And today, inshallah rahman, we are going to show you one of our beloved brothers who is Dr. Brown. And he reverted, and I believe a couple weeks ago we showed you how he converted to Islam. But today, since he was atheist by himself, today inshallah rahman, we show you the way that he explains, or the questions that he raises from or ask from those people who are atheists. And it is very important for all of us to know these questions, so inshallah we can help other people too. So maybe in our family there are someone who has a weak faith. Maybe our friends, especially we are living in non-Muslim countries, and a lot of atheists are around us. So we can help them, inshallah rahman, by asking these questions. And inshallah, if they are guided, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees their intention, their heart is pure, then He will guide them. So inshallah, watch this beautiful clip of him, and then we will return, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For all others, welcome. I'm going to be talking today on the subject of the big questions, but before I begin my talk, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Zakir Naik and the Islamic Research Foundation for inviting me to participate in this year's conference. I hope everybody understands the magnitude, the importance of the work that Dr. Zakir Naik and the IRF are doing. I will try in my own small part to contribute to the excellence of that work tonight. So, the first question everybody is probably asking themselves is, what does the title of this talk mean? What are the big questions? Well, the big questions are the questions that everybody at some point in their lives asks themselves. It does not matter whether you are atheist, agnostic, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist. It does not matter. Everybody at some time in their lives asks themselves, who made me and why am I here? Now, I'm going to take these questions in order. I'm going to start with the question, who made me, or in a broader sense, who made us? I am then going to move on to the question, why are we here? What is the purpose of our existence? And then I am going to move on to the logical extension, the answer that follows even after those two questions. So let's begin with who made us. To begin with, let's start with how an atheist would answer that question. An atheist, if asked, who made you, will answer, well, nobody, nothing. We, as a creation, are the result of the Big Bang, which brought the universe into existence, and we are the result of evolution, which brought life into existence and the diversity of life as we know it. That is the atheist answer. But does that answer make sense? I would submit that it does not, and here is the evidence. To begin with, let's look at the Big Bang. First of all, let's understand that the Islamic religion does not have any problem with the Big Bang. Islamic religion does not deny that the Big Bang happened. The Islamic religion, however, teaches that the Big Bang was under the control of the Creator. Now, which makes more sense? For us to believe that it was a random event, or that it was under the control of the Creator? To begin with, the Big Bang did not start with the explosion. The Big Bang started long before. Before the explosion, there was a primordial dust cloud, a dust cloud in the nothingness of space, which drew together as a massive hyperdense core of mass and energy, and it was that exploded. So where did this dust cloud come from? Where did the primordial dust, where did the energy come from for this explosion? If there is one thing we know from science, it is that we do not get something from nothing. In the explosion, it was the greatest explosion in the history of our universe. It blew everything outward to the universe as we have it today, which is expanding as we know it. And yet we are to believe that this supposedly random event resulted in the perfection of the universe as we know it, whereas any other explosion results in destruction and chaos. We are to believe that the Big Bang resulted in the perfection of the universe as we know it. This is an example where science contradicts science. What do I mean by that? If you are going to explain the universe on the basis of science, you cannot have science contradicting the science that explains the existence of the universe. In science, there is a general principle called entropy. Entropy is the principle that unless there is a greater control over a process, the process tends to chaos. Now let's put it into real-world terms. It does not matter whether you are talking about your child's bedroom, the kitchen sink, your workplace, or a complex chemical reaction. If it is not under control, it generates into chaos. If your child does not clean up his room, if somebody does not control the dishes in the sink, if somebody does not control the chemical reaction, the result is going to be random and chaos. But we are to believe that the massive explosion of the Big Bang resulted in perfection and not chaos. This is an example where science contradicts science. same way, when the atheists explain our existence as living beings, they use the example of evolution, natural selection. First, there was a single-cell organism. From the single-cell organism evolved all of life as we know it. But you know, if there's one thing that we know from our lives, it is that if you look at something, you know where it came from. If you look at a painting, you know that there was a painter. If you look at a sculpture, you know that there was a sculptor. If you look at a building, you know that there was an architect and a construction company. And yet we are to look at creation and think that there is not a creator. This is the proposal. The proposal of the atheist is that we evolved by natural selection with the absence of a creator. But I have a question for those who put forward this theory. Natural selection can explain a lot of things. It can explain the diversity of species. It can explain the fossil record. It can explain where the dinosaurs came from and where they went to. But how can you explain where the soul came from? If you believe in the existence of a human soul, how can you explain this as having evolved? For that matter, how can you explain life as having evolved? And what do I mean by life? I mean the power that gives a body, once assembled, to live. We have reached a point in science where we can transplant virtually every organ of the body. We can make a Frankenstein if we so desire, but not all of the world's scientists over the history of mankind, if you brought them all together, cannot make them live. We cannot even make the wing of a gnat in the perfection that it has been made by our Creator. And we cannot give a body life. That is why, once dead, medicine is not able to revive a dead person, even when their organs are still functioning. So, the explanation that we developed from natural selection is another example where science contradicts science. We have the example of millions of years of evolution or natural selection, and the proposal is that everything in our existence, if we don't have some control over it to keep it in order, everything degenerates into chaos, except for the Big Bang and except for evolution. Those two things, just by themselves, they tended toward perfection. Well, there are some people who accept that explanation, but I submit to you that it is not of those who are enlightened, it is not of those who have open minds or open hearts who accept that explanation. The Arabs have a story that they like to tell. A Bedouin is traveling in the desert. He comes upon an oasis, and in the oasis there is a perfect palace. Now, there are no building materials around. He finds another nomad and he asks him, "Where did this palace come from?" And the nomad said, "Oh, subhanallah, glory to be our Creator, you would not believe where it came from. First, the wind blew so hard that it shaped the rocks into perfect cubes with square edges. And it tumbled the rocks over the desert until they all fell together in the shape of this palace, in perfect assortment. And then the wind blew the dust with some, hairs and fibers from the trees into the cracks and brought the rain, and that made the cement that cemented it all together. And then lightning strikes blasted the sand into sheets of glass and blew the sheets of glass into the windows. And then the elements took wood from the far corners of the earth and shaped it with the wind and the different force of the elements into furniture and into window trim and doors. And tornadoes and hurricanes carry it here and drop the doors into the door places, drop the windows in, made the window frames, tumbled the furniture into the rooms. These strong winds took the fibers out of the backs of our sheep, wove them together into tapestries and carpets, and coated the floors with it. And all of this happened just in this one place on earth to make this perfect palace. You know, when we begin thinking about it, we cannot help but roll our eyes and realize, come on, this guy is crazy. This is impossible. And yet what we are told to believe is that the Big Bang and natural selection, through the two most climactic events in the history of creation, accomplished something even greater than this. Let's move on. Why are we here? If we agree that as we are creation, there is a creator, we have to ask the question, why? For what purpose were we created? I ask everybody to look around, not just now, but for the rest of the night. Look around. Everything that you see that we have ever made with the hands of man, we have made for a purpose. What is that purpose? Why have we ever made anything? Anything small or anything big? As far as I'm concerned, and I've never found anybody to say otherwise, we have never created, we have never made anything except to perform a function for us. In other words, we have never made anything except to serve us. Does it not make sense then that our Creator made us to serve Him? In fact, this is what Allah tells us in the Holy Quran when He revealed in the translation of the meaning of the Quran, Surah 51, Ayat 56, quote, "And I, God, have not created jinn and men except that they should serve," and some translate worship, "me," meaning Almighty God, Allah. So that is the purpose of our creation. That is reason for our existence. We were not created in the same way that we do not make anything except for it to serve us by performing a function. In the same way, we were not created except for a purpose. And that purpose is to serve the Creator, to serve and worship the Creator. So how? How do we serve Him? Think about this. Our Creator gave everything a guidance system. We have light to find our way during the day. We have the stars and the moon to find our way at night. This is for seeing animals. Birds migrate by polarized light. That is how they are able to migrate even when there are clouds covering the sky. They can read the polarization of the light even though they cannot see the sun. Other animals migrate by reading the magnetic field of the earth. Whales, lobsters can actually sense the magnetism of the earth and follow it, and that is how they find their way. That was the gift of our Creator to them. Salmon, this delicious fish that we have, leave the place of their birth, go down the river, out into the ocean for years. For years. When they come back to the river they were born in. They fight their way back up to the river to the very spot where they hatched from an egg, and they find their way there by smell. They smell their way from the vastness of the ocean to the river they were born with, back to the exact spot they were born. Bats and river dolphins have sonar. Marine animals in the deep ocean, so deep that there is no light, they can read electrical currents, so they can know where they are. They can find their prey by the electrical currents generated thereby. Insects have pheromones, which are chemicals so sensitive that they can sense a single molecule, and find their ways to food, find their ways to a mate. Plants, our Creator gave plants a unique guidance. Phototrophism, by which the stalk grows up. Geotrophism, by which the roots go down, and the two never get confused. you never find the roots growing up and the plant growing down. What is my point? My point is that our Creator has given everything in His creation guidance by which it can find its way to the things that it needs, food, a mate, etc. Can we possibly believe for 1 minute that our Creator would have so much mercy that He would give us guidance in all things, give guidance to all of His creation in all things, but He would not give us guidance to the hereafter? Is it possible to believe that? What would be the guidance to the hereafter? Obviously, revelation. Think of us. Think of our lives this way. A minute ago, I was talking about everything that we as man have made with our own hands. I drew the parallel that as we are creation of our Creator, we were created for a purpose. Now, when we make something with rules. It doesn't matter how simple or complex it is. If you have a spoon to eat with, that spoon has rules. You use it right side up, not upside down. You use the bowl of the spoon to eat with. You don't use the handle of the spoon to eat with. Now, this may seem simplistic, and you might say, well, I knew that. That's obvious. It wasn't always. When you were a baby, when you picked up that spoon, you might have picked it up by any end, and it might not have gone to your mouth. You could have put it into your eye if you wanted to, and as a baby, you wouldn't have known that that was not its purpose. But with the simple things, we grow to understand the rules. With the complex things, we don't. And so, the manufacturer gives us a user's manual. We buy a television, we buy a car, we buy a computer. What does it come with? An instruction manual. The instruction manual, by the way, is written by who? When we buy a product, do we ever find that Sony is writing the instructions for Panasonic television? Do we ever find that Ford Motor Company is writing the instruction manual for Hyundai cars? No. The instruction manual is always written by the one who made the product. That is the one who knows it best. So it only makes sense that the instruction manual for us would be written by the one who made us, the one who knows us best. To draw the parallel out a little bit longer, think of any instruction manual you ever read. It starts with what? Warnings. Warning, warning, warning. What will happen if you use this product incorrectly? Then it tells you how to use it correctly and the benefit that you will gain by doing so. And it finishes with what? A troubleshooting guide. How is that different from Revelation? Revelation tells us what not to do and the consequences of that. It tells us what to do and the benefit to be gained thereby. And it gives us a troubleshooting guide. In other words, it tells us how to sort ourselves out if we have a problem, how to correct our deficiencies and guide ourselves aright. It tells us what not to do and the consequences of that. It tells us what to do and the benefit to be gained thereby. And it gives us a troubleshooting guide. In other words, it tells us how to sort ourselves out if we have a problem, how to correct our deficiencies and guide ourselves aright. Now, if you meet the specifications of what your duties are, you will reap the reward. And if you are an employee who is substandard, what happens to you? You get fired. Think about that word, fired. The consequence of underperforming, the consequence of not meeting standards. That word did not come from nowhere. In the past, the people who were developing the English language looked around and said, how should we describe somebody who is a failure? What happens to them? In the same way that a person who is a failure in life finds the fire in the hereafter, the employee who is a failure on his job gets fired. So let us not be failures in life, and let us not be failures in the hereafter. So, hopefully by this point, we have agreed that as we are creation, there is a Creator. That as everything we make for the purpose of serving us, our Creator made us to serve and worship Him. We are then talking about how. The owner's manual, the manual of specification for us, is the manual of revelation. Why? What is the need for revelation? Isn't it enough for all of us just to be good? Now, all of you know I am not dreaming up these questions by myself. All of you have heard other people asking these questions. Yeah, sure, I believe there's a God. Yeah, okay, I know I believe there's a God, and I know I should be serving and worshiping Him, but it's enough just to be good. I'm a good person, that's enough. So isn't that enough? The answer is no, it's not enough. Why? Well, to begin with, we have to examine the reason for revelation. Our Creator is fair and just. Our Creator is fair and just. When we die, we are going to the day of judgment, where we are going to be evaluated and assigned either to punishment or to paradise. Would it be fair for that assignment to be arbitrary? We are going to stand in front of a court. Think about a court for a minute. To establish justice, you need four things. You need a judge, you need a court, you need witnesses, and you need a book of laws. If you do not have any of those four things, how can you establish justice? And on the day of judgment, the judge will be Allah, the book of laws will be the Holy Quran, and the witnesses will be the elements of creation, and the court will be the day of judgment. Now, it is by those four things that we will be measured. The angels who are in attendance with us from the day we are born until the day we die will bear witness. Our own hands will bear witness to what they have wrought. Our own tongues will say what has passed through it. We will bear witnesses against ourselves. The angels will bear witnesses as well. Other elements of creation who have witnessed our deeds will be there as well, and there will be no deed, large or small, that will be missed. Those will be our witnesses in the courtroom of the day of judgment. And we will be measured by what? By a book of laws.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faraj al-sharif. My respected brothers and sisters, I hope you enjoyed this video, and alhamdulillah wal-minna learned a lot of things, and inshallah rahman you can share this information with other people too. So inshallah we start our program right now. So let me inshallah go to Quran al-Sharif, and then inshallah rahman. So we are in Surah Al-Baqarah actually, and verse this is Surah Al-Baqarah. This is Surah Al-Baqarah verse 21. So inshallah rahman I will start from here. So, and meanwhile I would like to mention again, if you would like to call, you're welcome. This is a live program, and anytime that you would like to call, I stop teaching and listen to you, and you can recite any surah that you would like to. And my request is from all of you brothers and sisters to encourage your youth encourage your children, inshallah. Even you can call, inshallah, to encourage others, recite any surah that you would like, from short surahs, or if you want to read this ayah, so you're welcome. This is your own program. So as you see over here, we have ya. So ya, alif, fatha. Ya, alif, fatha, or we can, because of this mad, you can say ya, alif, mad, fatha. Ya, and then hamza, ya, fatha, ay. Ya, dhamma, you, ha, noon, fatha, han, noon, alif, fatha, na. This sign is from hamzatul wasl. So if you ignore this sign, then you connect ha with noon. You join it. You join ha with noon. Han, na. But in case if there is no ya ayyuhal, ya ayyuha, if this is not over here, only you see from here, then you have to say annasu. See that? Annasu. But since you join this, ya ayyuhan nasu, you say ha, noon, fatha, han, noon, alif, fatha, na, sin, ain, sin, ain, dhamma, so, ba, dhamma, bu, dal, dhamma, dal, waw, dhamma, du, ra, ba, fatha, rab, ra, ba, fatha, rab, ba, fatha, ba, kaf, dhamma, ku, mim, lam, dhamma, mul, lam, fatha, la, dhal, ya, kasra, dhi, kha, fatha, kha, lam, fatha, la, qaf, fatha, qa, kaf, mim, dhamma, kum, waw, lam, fatha, wal, lam, fatha, la, dhal, dhal, ya, kasra, dhi, noon, fatha, na, mim, noon, kasra, min, qaf, ba, fatha, qab, lam, kasra, li, kaf, mim, dhamma, kum, min qablikum, lam, fatha, la, ain, lam, fatha, al, lam, fatha, la, kaf, mim, dhamma, kum, ta, fatha, tat, ta, fatha, ta, qaf, waw, dhamma, qu, noon, fatha, na, la'allakum tattaqun. So this mad is mad munfasil or mad qasir, because the letter of mad, which is this alif, is in one word, which is ya, then ayyu, hamza is in another word, even though it looks like it is in the same word, but it is different in different words. Ya ayyuhal nas, and you know that this is a ghunna, so you stretch this one at least 2 second duration, from 2 to 6, and this one 2 second duration. Na, su'budu, rabb always should be pronounced heavy, rabbi, rabba, because ra is tafkhim too. Rabbakumul ladhi khalaqakum. After mim sakin there is a waw. So the rule of mim sakin is very easy. Noon sakin has 3 rules: ikhfa mim sakin, izhar mim sakin, and idgham mim sakin. If after mim sakin, anytime mim has a sukun on the top of it, it is sakin. If mim sakin if after mim sakin ba comes, it is ikhfa mim sakin, you stretch it 3 second duration. If after mim sakin is another mim, it is idgham mim sakin, you stretch it 3 second duration, or 3 haraka. But the rest of the letters, 26 more letters, any of them which comes, you do not stretch. So over here you do not stretch because there is no ba and mim. So walladhina and min, because after nun sakin is qaf, and qaf is one of the huruf ikhfa. So this is ikhfa nun sakin. So qaf is not from huruf halqi. If huruf halqi, one of huruf halqi comes after nun sakin or tanween al fatha, tanween al kasra, tanween al dama, then you do not stretch it. For example, huruf halqi are hamza, ha, kha, ain, ghain, ha. So none of them is over here. So that's why walladhina min qab, ba is qalqala, qudb, jad, qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal. Or we say qaf, be, qaf, toy, be, jim, dal. So in Farsi or Urdu, the name of these letters are a little different. Qaf, so this is ba in Arabic, but be in Farsi or Urdu. So qaf, ba, fatha, qab, qalqala, likum, after mim, we will see. If there is a ba, it is ikhfa, mim sakin. If it is another mim, it is idgham mim sakin. And we, in these two conditions, we stretch them. But if other than these two, we see, we do not stretch. So see, there is lam, so we do not stretch. La'allakum, again, see, there is no ba, no mim, so we do not stretch this. This is izhar mim sakin. La'allakum tattaqoon, and this is madya or is a sukun. So madya or is a sukun, I promise you that I'm going to explain next time. So you see this waw. This waw is the harfe, the letter of mad. So if we have the letter of mad and the letter before has a dhamma, which is qaf, and qaf has a dhamma, and when we stop, the last letter turns to sukun, then we know that these three rules, when we have, we would have madda or as a sukun or sukun arizi, and we stretch it. Other than that, no. But if instead of this alif, wow, if it is alif, because wow, alif, ya are the letters of mad. So instead of this wow, it was alif, then we had to have fatha on the top of the letter before alif. So for alif, we must have a fatha in front of it. For waw, we must have a dhamma. For ya, we must have a kasra, like rahim. Rahim, ya has a kasra. So when we stop, mim turns to sukun, then rahim, we stretch it. And this is nas. See, when we have a letter of mad, and then the letter before alif has a fatha, and when we stop, this turns to sukun. An-nas. Right? So when we recite it, we recite it like this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. So we go to the next ayah, but as you see the ayat O mankind, O people, O because nas is people. O mankind, worship your Lord who created you and those before you, that you may become righteous. O mankind, worship your Lord. When you worship, you listen to Him. So listen to your Lord who created you and those before you, that you may become righteous. When you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you become righteous, pious. Otherwise, so what kind of worshiping it will be if you do not follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? So over here, as you see, alladhi. So let me maximize it a little bit. So this is Hamzatul Wasil. Hamza, Lam Fatha, Al. Lam Fatha, La. Dal, Ya Kasra, Dhi. Alladhi. Jim Fatha, Ja. Ain Fatha, A. Lam Fatha, La. Ja'ala. Lam Fatha, La. Kaf, Dhamma, Ku. Mim, Lam, Dhamma. Mul, Hamza, Ra Fatha, Ar. Dad Fatha, Da. Fa kasra fi, Ra alif Fatha, Ra. Shin Waw Tanween Fatha, Shaw. Waw Sin Fatha, Was Sin Fatha, Sa Mim Alif Mat Fatha, Ma. Hamza Fatha, A. Ba kasra, Bi Nun Alif Mat Fatha, Na. Hamza Waw Tanween Fatha, Aw Waw Fatha, Wa. Hamza Nun Fatha, An. Za Fatha, Za. Lam Fatha, La. Mim kasra, Mi. Nun Sin Fatha, Nas Sin Fatha, Sa Mim Alif Mat Fatha, Ma. Hamza kasra, I. Mim Alif Mat Fatha, Ma. Hamza Tanween Fatha, An. Fa Fatha, Fa. Hamza Kha Fatha, Akh. Ra Fatha, Ra. Jim Fatha, Ja. Ba kasra, Bi. Ha Ya kasra, Ba. Ha Tawil kasra, Hi. Mim kasra, Mi. Nun Tha Fatha, Nas. Tha Fatha, Tha. Mim Fatha, Ma. Ra Alif Fatha, Ra. Ta kasra, Ti. Ra. Za kasra, Riz. Qaf Lam Tanween Fatha, Qal. Lam Fatha, La. Kaf Mim Dhamma, Kum. Fa Fatha, Fa. Lam Alif Fatha, La. Ta Jim Fatha, Taj. Ain Fatha, A. Lam Waw Dhamma, Lu. Lam Lam kasra, Lil. Lam Alif Fatha, La. Ha kasra, Hi. Alif or Hamza Nun Fatha, An. Dal Alif Fatha, Da. Dal Waw Tanween Fatha, Daw. Waw Fatha, Wa. Alif Hamza Nun Fatha, An. Ta Mim Dhamma, Tum. And then Ta Ain Fatha, Ta. Lam Fatha, La. Mim Waw Dhamma, Mu. Nun Fatha, Na. So Alladhi Ja'ala Lakumul. Lakumul Ar. Ar. Ra should be pronounced heavy or with tafkhim, because when Ra is sakin, the letter before has a fatha or dhamma, you pronounce it heavy or with tafkhim. Da, Fira, Shaw, because after Tanween al-Fatha, Waw came in. Waw is one of the huruf Yarmalun. Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Waw, Nun. Then you say Shaw. You put shadda over here. Fira, Shaw, Was. And you make a whistling sound because sin is harfe safir. Was-samaa. Over here, as you see, alif, which is the letter of mad, and hamza, both of them are in one word, as-sama. So this is madde tawil or madde muttasil. So you stretch it at least 4 haraka, from 4 to 6. Was-samaa bina'an. Again, The letter of mad is alif over here, and the cause is hamza. Both are in the same word. Bina aw. After tanween al-fatha there is waw, and we will have a idgham noon sakin. So the same way over here we had the idgham noon sakin. Over here the same thing. After tanween al-fatha is waw, we put shad over here and we stretch it 3 second duration. Bina wa alif noon fatha. An za is one of the huruf ikhfa. That's why you stretch noon. 3 haraka. Anzala minas sama'i. Again the sama'i is madde muttasil, muttasil, and you stretch it at least 4 haraka. Ma again madde muttasil, because the letter of mad which is alif and the hamza which is cause are in the same word. Ma'an. When you stop over here you say ma'a, but right now you cross. Ma'an fa'akhraja. So bihi, kha is harf isti'la. We have to be careful to always read huruf isti'la, which are 7 huruf. Kha, sad, dad, ta, dha, and ghain, qaf always should be pronounced heavy. Fa'akhraja, ra is tafkhim ra, full. Bihi minas samara, ra, again rati, rizqan lakum. Idgham noon sakin, because after tanween al-fatha there is a lam, and lam is from huruf yarmalun. Yarmalu, lu. See that? Loon. Yarmalun. Ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, noon. And also this za is arf safir. Safir with sad. Safir. Riz, make a whistling sound. Rizqan lakum. See, there is no ba after mim, there is no another mim, so it is from those 26 letters, which is izhare, mim sakin. You do not stretch this. Rizqan lakum falan taj. This is jim and has a sukun. It is qalqala. Taj'alu lillah. Name of Allah. The letter before has a kasra. With tarqiq you read this. Lillahi. Again noon. And after noon is dal. Dal is one of huruf ikhfa. Why? Because this is not from huruf halqi, which is hamza, ha, kha, ain, ghain, and ha. And it's not from yarmalun, yara, mim, waw, lam, noon. And it is not ba, which is iqlab. So it is dal. So it must be from huruf ikhfa. An, da, daw, again idgham noon sakin. After tanween al-fatha there is waw and you put shadda. Daw, and you stretch it. Wa antum, and you stretch noon because ta is one of huruf ikhfa. Tum, mim sakin. And what is after mim sakin? If it is ba, it is ikhfa noon sakin. If it is mim, idgham mim sakin. But if it is another thing, so it is izhar noon sakin, izhar mim sakin. So this is ta. Ta'lamun. See again, madar is a sukun. We have a waw, the letter before, which is mim, has a dhamma, and when you stop, this turns to sukun. Ta'lamun. So when we read it like this. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا كنتم تعلمون. So this was this ayah. So we go to one of the beautiful ayah in the Holy Quran, which is an ayah which challenges the entire scholars in the world and says, if you are in doubt about what we have sent down upon our servants, who? Upon Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And if you are in doubt about what we have sent down upon our servants, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then produce a surah like it, the like thereof. So then produce a surah the like thereof and call upon your witnesses other than Allah, if you should be truthful. This is a challenge to all human being, to all scholars or whoever claim that he has a knowledge of Arabic language. It says, if you think that this is not from me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, then write a surah like it, bring a surah like it, and nobody can bring a surah like it until the Day of Judgment. So look at this. Wa in waw fatha wa, hamza nun kasra, in kaf nun dhamma, kun ta mim dhamma, tum, fa ya kasra, fi, ra ya fatha, rai, ba mim tanwin al kasra, bim mim kasra, mim alif fatha, ma nun za fatha, naz za lam fatha, zal nun alif fatha, na ain fatha, a lam alif fatha, la ain ba fatha, ab dal kasra, di nun alif fatha, na fa hamza fatha, fa ta waw dhamma, tu ba kasra, bi sin waw dhamma, su ra fatha, ra ta mim tanwinul kasra, tim mim kasra, mim tha kasra, mith lam kasra, li ha tawil kasra, hi waw dal fatha, wad ain waw dhamma, u shin dhamma, shu ha fatha, ha dal alif fatha, dal alif mad fatha, da hamza fatha, a kaf mim dhamma, kum mim nun kasra, min dal waw dhamma, du nun lam kasra, nil lam alif fatha, la ha kasra, hi hamza nun kasra, in kaf nun dhamma, kun ta mim dhamma, tum صاد alif fatha, sa dal kasra, di qaf ya kasra, qi nun fatha, na. So what we have over here, waw alif nun kasra, in, because kaf is one of the huruf ikhfa, we have a ikhfa nun sakin, we stretch it 3 second duration. Wa in kun, again kun, because this nun is harf ikhfa. So kun, tum after mim there is a fa, so it is not ba, it is not mim, so we do not stretch it. It is izhar mim sakin. Tum fi rai bim, after tanwin al kasra mim came, and mim is one of the huruf yarmalun, it is idgham mim sakin, and then we stretch it 3 second duration, 3 haraka. Rai bim mimma ghunna, when mim or nun are mushaddad, it is ghunna, or has a shadda on the top of it. Ma nun zafatha, naz, see arf safir again, naz, and huruf safir are za, sin, sad, naz, zalna, ala, ab, qalqala, ab, dina, And without any doubt, this noon is harf istifal, and we do not say na, we say na. Abdina fa'tu bi suratim idgham noon sakin, because after tanween al-kasra is mim, and mim is one of the huruf yarmalun. Bi suratim mim idgham noon sakin. This noon enters to this mim and disappears. Mim مثله وَدْ قَلْقَلَعُ شُهَدَاءَكُمْ, and this is madde muttasil, and after mim is another mim, and idghame mim sakin appears, and you stretch it 3 haraka. Kum min, dal is one of huruf ikhfa, and this is ikhfa nun sakin, you stretch it 3 haraka. Min dunillahi, see, the letter before Allah has a the letter before Allah, which is noon, has a kasra, so it is tarqiq lam jalala. Nillahi, in, again ikhfa nun sakin, stretch it 3 second duration. Kun ikhfa nun sakin, tum idhar mim sakin, sadiqin, and madde arz sukun. So now pay attention inshallah and see if I am following these rules, the rules that I explained. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَإِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِّثْلِهِ وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. And you can read it in different lahan, inshallah ar-Rahman. And I'm going to read it one more time with tartil, and then our program will end, inshallah ar-Rahman. Bismillah ar-Rahman. وَإِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِّثْلِهِ وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرج الشريف. My respected brothers and sisters, this was today's program, and inshallah rahman we will put the email over there, so inshallah rahman you can email us any suggestions, any comments, any feedback, inshallah rahman. And it is very important for us, inshallah, to know whether this program is beneficial for you or not. So please email us and give us feedback, inshallah rahman. And this program is for you, and we just do our job, and we just do our part. So inshallah rahman, hopefully you guys participate and call. Anyway, this was today's program. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you anywhere that you are and you're watching our program. Inshallah rahman. So let me inshallah take this call. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam. I had a question.
Yes, sis.
So when we read in Quran the letter Zwad, we say Zwad, but the pronunciation that most people say is Bod. So which one is the correct way to pronounce it when you're reading the Quran?
I will answer you in one condition.
Yes.
Okay, the condition is that always you watch our program, and inshallah you call and you participate and you recite surah for us, okay?
Okay.
What is your name? What is your name?
Masuma.
Sister Masuma. So from where are you calling from, sister?
From Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, alhamdulillah wal minna. Sister, always inshallah watch our program and encourage your sisters and brothers, and friends to inshallah watch this program. This is for you guys. Alhamdulillah wal minna. Okay? So see you inshallah next week. I hope you call again inshallah and I will answer your question. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Jazakallah. Thank you, sister. Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, sister. Thank you for calling. We appreciate that. Sister, the letter Dad should be pronounced from this part of your jaw. So walad dallin. So this part or this part, both is correct. So Dad, but must be from your jaw. So the corner of your tongue touches your jaw and pronounce it full. Dallin. Dallin is because it's very hard to pronounce that. So please just ignore that. It is impossible. Long time ago it was the they would fold their tongue. So it is then now if you listen to any Arab brothers and sisters, they pronounce it Dallin. So da is correct inshallah rahman. Always pronounce that walad dallin. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all your a'mal, and inshallah rahman I request from all my brothers and sisters to pray for all of us, those brothers and sisters who are working over here day and night, and us who come part-time and participate and fulfill our duty. So inshallah, hopefully you guys call next week. May Allah bless all of you sisters and brothers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh.